Are amazing. Grab my water here. I do. Let's open that. Do you know what else I have here? I have some retro stuff. Does anybody know what this is? I love this thing. I love it. Good morning. How you doing? It's the 8th of August, 2022. This is Ask a Traffic Cop, and my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I work at Traffic Services. I talk about traffic stuff and things here on the internet, answering your traffic and police questions, in fact. And as I've said in previous videos, I'm a traffic safety educator. I talk about traffic safety a lot. Not everybody agrees with what I have to say, but I still keep talking. That's sort of what I do. All right, well, let's get into some things. Q is not joining us. I see a good morning to Sean and Q from Crystal. Thank you very much. But Q is not available this morning. She is otherwise occupied. Maybe she'll jump on later. I cannot guarantee it, but we'll see what happens. Blade Runner, thank you for reminding all to not spam. If you're watching us, know that I don't actually get to see the chat often. Actually, I'm going to try and load up the chat in another window, but I do want to be able to pop in and see what's. I got to make sure I mute this. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I want to be able to see what's going on in the chat so I can pull out some questions as best I can. Questions. Where's the button for questions? I don't see the questions. Maybe the live chat will just show up. Oh, wait, maybe I can do this. Okay. Let me start by saying it's nice to be back in the office, even though it is disgustingly hot. It is just gross. And as much as I love the air conditioning, it's not really working right now, like at all. No, it's not working. Not working well enough to compete with outside. So if you're outside today, please keep in mind that you need to stay hydrated. Lots of agua. Also, don't leave anybody or anything in your car. You know, the car will just heat up so quickly. You may think you're running in for 5 seconds, and your furry friends and any family that you leave behind are going to be in a bad space. Big Jeff Fresh with a good morning coming in from YouTube. Linda from Facebook, good morning all. Let me just talk to you quickly about Vision Zero Enforcement Team. They are a talented group of individuals who enforce the Highway Traffic Act. They specifically look for the big four. That's speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. They are trying to change driver behavior all over the city. Why? Because they are going after those particular behaviors that lead to serious injury and death on our roads. We acknowledge that minor collisions, well, they're going to happen. They're essentially unavoidable. But the ones that lead to serious injury and death are totally avoidable, and they're unacceptable because it's all based on your decision to do whatever you're doing. Where are they today? Well, they are in 14 Division and 55 Division. Those are the communities, the neighborhoods of Christie, Ossington, Annex, Little Italy, the beaches, Riverdale, Danforth, East York. That's just some of the neighborhoods that they are out there helping today. Why do I hear myself? Did I mute it and it didn't mute? Yeah, it did. I'm hearing just this faint echo, delayed. I pressed mute and it didn't mute. Well, it's now muted and I don't have to hear myself, which is good because I was hearing things. Okay. Like I said, I hope you had a great weekend. Did you do anything crazy, wild, impressive, boring, relaxing? Whatever you did, I hope you enjoyed it. I spent time with family. I got to see my kid brother who's in town. That's awesome. What else did I do? I rested. And I did mess around on the with some voiceover stuff. I specifically went and did one of those challenges, voiceover challenges. I posted it up on the voiceover cop page and doing a Disney intro. I thought it was fun. You know what? I have a whole new respect for those in the industry. It's not as easy as it looks. Like I do voiceover stuff for us, but I'm not a voiceover artist out there in the wild. It's very easy to get deep in the weeds of trying to be perfect. And anyway, I had fun with it. I posted it on the VoiceOver Cop. You can let me know what you think. All right. What do we got here? All right. Let me go into this. Let me scroll back. I'm going to take a whole snapshot of questions here. I'm going to put them over to, and thank you very much for jumping in there, Blade Runner. Yes, I know it's Angela, but I love that have you watched Blade Runner? I mean, obviously, Angela, you have. But is there anyone here who has not watched the original Blade Runner? Because it's epic. It really is. I mean, I've watched the remake. The remake was cool too. But the original, that's a whole other level. Okay, opening up Word, pasting into Word. If you've got questions, I'm looking at the Q&A section of Volley. It's empty. Well, it's not empty, but it's nothing that is come up in the last little while. If you'd like to ask questions and you're having difficulty, you can go into Volyap to get to our space. You can go to trafficcop.ca. That will forward you to our space. Regardless of the platform you're on, it doesn't matter, Android, iOS, web, you can use it on PC or Mac. You just create an app or an account. It's free, and then you can come in and you can send me video, voice, or text. And if you send me video or voice, I can actually play it on the show. Then you have Big Jeff Fresh. I'm disappointed. Really, you've not seen Blade Runner? Come on. Okay, you've got homework. You got to go watch that. That's the best movie. I love that movie. But yes, going back to Blade Runner because I squirreled. You can ask questions. We'll play them on the show. We'll deal with it. Now you could be watching on Instagram, and Instagram we have a fully functional Q&A section. Feel free to use that if you're more comfortable. Now on TikTok we have a chat because Q&A. I'm gonna press the button and see. Is still broken. Q&A hasn't worked for over 2 months for us. We don't know why, but I don't get it. Now, if you are on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, Facebook, all of those messages are going to show up in the same space so I can see them on screen, so you're good to go there. If you're on Twitter, I'm sorry, friends, you can't actually ask us questions. You'd have to use trafficcop.ca and come into our space. That's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbled. It's actually just because they broke it. They broke it. The interface used to work. All right. Morning. Thank you for your service. You're most welcome, 7-Eleven. I like how you've written that. Hey, Toronto Police. Does Toronto Police say hi? Bill Gates. Yes, Bill Gates. I say hi. Hi, Bill Gates. And, wow, Angela, you actually reminded me I have a hang on a second. Be right back. I have a copy. Angela says, don't forget your coffee. I actually forgot my coffee. I forgot my coffee in the coffee machine, literally. I forgot it. So thank you, Angela, for the heads up. I went and got it. I now have it. I will sip it. It's still hot. Yes, that is good. It's just coffee. It's black. It has. I think this is the one that has biscuit or caramel. I don't know what it is. It's one of the flavors in my bowl of pods, and I like it. Okay. Good morning from Muskoka. Good morning to you. Okay, Nadimer wants to know, can a cop demand ID from your passenger for a traffic violation? If they have a traffic violation, like they're not wearing a seatbelt, absolutely. A police officer can make a demand for identification. If that passenger chooses not to identify themselves, they can be arrested for fail to identify. They're obligated under the Highway Traffic Act to identify themselves. Do I know Ben Shapiro? No, but I've never met him. But we have a similar name. I say actually it's the same name, but I don't think we're related. Okay. What is this? You're so free. Okay. I try and be free. What is this? How's your vacay going? Oh, this is now a conversation between Emma and Tracy. My bad. Justino wants to know about throttle therapy. Take it to the track. You want to go fast? Does that make you feel good? Take it to the track. And what do we got here? We got a message from Crystal. Was the old... Oh, okay. So over the weekend, I posted a picture of a Chevy Impala stretched and jacked up on giant rims, on like rubber band tires. And the question was, is it legal? And we've had a great conversation because that's the reason I put it up there. Not because I know it is or isn't legal, but because we're going to have a discussion amongst everybody out here. If you want to see that photo, you can see it on VoiceOver Cop on Instagram. That's where it's posted. I think I also put it on my Twitter. It's an interesting conversation because just because it's on the road doesn't mean it's legal. It may have been legal when it was certified, but it may have been modified post-certification, making it maybe less legal. So was it legal? Well, first off, there's no mud flaps. The tires were exposed and would have kicked up all sorts of dirt, debris, and water to the vehicles behind it. So on that alone, there'd be violations. There's a maximum bumper height and a maximum headlight height, which I think this exceeds. I haven't been there to measure it. This was a photo shared with me. So I'm going to assume it is, at very least, violating a number of laws. Is it truly unsafe for the road? I'd have to inspect it. But thanks for following up and asking the question. I don't know. Okay. Can you drive in the HOV lanes in a Hearst? Okay. I know you mean Hearst, but I added the T for effect because you typed it. If there's two people in it, and I say people that are alive, you have to be alive to be in that lane. It's one of those call me crazy, but if you are no longer with us and you've moved on to the afterlife, you don't qualify for the purposes of the HOV lane. Now, that's my interpretation. Maybe there's somewhere that says you can, but I'm going to say no. Okay. Oh, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. What division do you work out of? Can you give us a video tour one day? So I work at Traffic Services. That's the citywide traffic unit here in Liberty Village, downtown Toronto. And I actually put up a video tour of my little space. But yeah, we could probably go. It's not a very exciting building. Like there's a front desk. We could wave to those people. We could walk through a bunch of desks that's the Criminal Investigation Bureau. We have some cells. We have an area for evaluating breath tests and drug tests and things like that. And then we have this space here. Most of the work we do is out on the road. Going out and investigating collisions on the road or enforcing the Highway Traffic Act. Okay, but a good question, and yeah, we can totally do that. Okay, questions popping in. Country Lee. I live on a no trucks road in a small town. Signs all over the street. One of my neighbors drives a transport truck and drives on the road to park in his laneway. Is he allowed? So if you have a specific business, so you can't use it as a cut through if you have no business on the street, but if you were delivering something to that address or if you live at that address, that no truck zone should not apply to you. You have business at a specific address and you're entitled to go there. That would be like saying, no trucks in the city, but you live in the city and you work in the city. I'm exaggerating. I don't have a really good example. But yeah, you're allowed to, if someone's moving, the truck's allowed to take their furniture there, right? Same as if they live there. I don't think they'd be eligible for a ticket. Is front window tint illegal because you can't clearly identify the driver? So two things. Front window tint is absolutely illegal in Ontario because it restricts your ability to see in and out. You can't. It's zero tint available unless you have a vehicle that's manufactured before January 1st, 2017, at which point you can get a tint strip across the top 3 inches. That's it. But everybody else, nothing on their window at all. And it's for good reason, because tint reduces the light in. Your eyes work by receiving light. Less light means less vision. I know people disagree. They say, but I see fine. Well, you see less. Now, the windows left and right of the driver, they can be up to 30% light blockage. That means 70% of the light has to come through. And that's also because you have to be able to see in and out. Now, there's a fine or a charge under the Highway Traffic Act in Ontario that says you cannot obscure the interior of your motor vehicle, which means if I can't see you, and the I being the police officer investigating, but also any member of the public has to be able to identify the driver, has to be able to see what's going on inside for their safety, that non-visual communication. So a pedestrian walking across the street, a cyclist wanting to know what you're about to do. If you have nothing but an opaque window, it's really hard to judge what you're about to do next. And it's dangerous for everybody. All right. Hi, good morning from Stephen Bell. We'll right back at you. Tracy Bell, good morning, Sean. A question came up recently. Is it illegal to drive with the receiver ball in the trailer hitch with no trailer attached? So would you happen to know what the fine is? We talk about this on a regular basis because there is nothing under the law that says you have to remove it. There's nothing that says you can't have it. So you could drive around with it as long as it's not obstructing your license plate. Why is that? Because when you attach a trailer, that trailer has a plate. The plate would then permit you to obscure the actual trailer or the vehicle plate because you have now a new plate replacing for the purposes of what's behind you. Like you're towing a trailer, we don't see the vehicle plate, so it's okay. But if your ball hitch is on your bumper and your bumper blocks your license plate when it's installed, that would have to come off if you are not towing a trailer. Yes. Okay. Okay. Teresa says not even the dead get a pass. Yeah. It's HOV. It's that as far as I can tell, that's the deal. All right. Gerst. It's a Gerst. I think it's Gerst. On Twitch says, I accidentally hit a car in a parking lot. Can I leave my contact info on the car and leave, or would that be fail to remain? Well, technically it's fail to remain. What if they never get the message? If somebody comes and takes it, what if they don't get it for whatever reason? My suggestion would be call police, identify yourself, the vehicles involved, let them know at the very least you've told them what's happened and told them that you've made efforts to locate the owner or driver, you've been unsuccessful, you've left your information, and then there's a record of it. It's a recorded line. There's a record of it. And you can say on this date and time I recorded it or reported it, and that's it. It covers your rear end, right? That's the goal. Okay. Were you at the Calgary Stampede this year? Nope. I was in Toronto. When was the Calgary? I have not left Toronto. Not really. Morning from New Brunswick. Can we report drivers texting on a phone while driving? So if it was an emergency, if they were all over the road posing a risk to public safety, then that would be an emergency and you could use your phone legally to call police. If they were using their phone to text and drive and we're not an emergency, then you're now doing the same thing that they're doing, sort of, right? It's all about what's appropriate. And while technically calling police, you could use your phone. I would sooner make a recording if you had a dash cam, just tap on it so you trigger that event recording, or leave a voice note on your phone with your license plate, and or a note with Siri or Alexa to record it. And you can use tps.ca/core to make a report about that vehicle. Good morning from Regina. I'm going to Regina soon. I'm going to Regina in September. Can cops search your trunk legally without a warrant, or do they need a warrant for it to be legal? Depends. There are times when we would search your vehicle for inventory. That would be a reason. Otherwise, we'd need to have a warrant. There's very specific times we can and cannot search things. Oh, Q&A has a bunch of stuff that's popped in. What's going on here? Hey, good morning. Do we need to... what is this? Oh. Here's a great question. Hey, good morning. Do we need to do a complete stop at a stop sign when cycling? Yes. The law says you must come to a complete stop in the province of Ontario when you approach a stop sign. There is no exemption for an Idaho stop, a rolling stop. It's for all vehicles and bicycles or vehicles. So that's from Noah. I think that was Noah. No, that was not Noah. That was Parampreet Singh who asked that. Noah is... Currently, there's a whole bunch of questions coming in right now, but we'll wait until they show up, and we'll. Oh, here. What could happen to an officer that enters a home with no warrant and enters with no probable cause? It really depends on what we're talking about, and that's pretty ambiguous. We would have a right to enter if we had a 911 call. But I'll remind you that this is a traffic show, and we tend to focus our questions on traffic-related stuff and not the deep dive of what ifs on search and seizure authorities. And it's just, that's not my specialty. I'm obviously, I know what I know, but I don't want to get into things that are well outside of this, because the majority of the people here are here for traffic and police questions. But general police, big traffic. All right. What do we got here? Can an off-duty Toronto police officer perform his duty in a different province? So in a different province, we are not police officers. Unless we are... So if we're traveling, we leave the province, we're not police officers anywhere else. We're provinces sworn here, or officers sworn here. If we are going there for a specific reason, like we're working and actually on duty, we might be sworn in as a police officer there for the purposes of what we're doing if we're part of a task force or special detail. So that would be on duty, not off duty. Off duty, we're just peeps. What is the HOV lane? I hear you say a lot, but I don't know what it stands for. Stephen Bell wants to know. High occupancy vehicle lane. High occupancy. It's for having multiple people. There's a bunch of different variations of people who can be on there. You can have it if you have 2 or more passengers. You can have it. You can use it if you have a green plate, which means you have a qualifying vehicle that's either electric or alternative fuel, like a hydrogen vehicle, I believe qualifies for an E plate or a green plate. And yeah, there's a couple of other things. I think taxis and limos can use them as well. I have to look it up. Can we make a U-turn on any road unless posted no U-turn? There's a couple of other sections of road you cannot do it. Like you can't do it within 30 meters of a railway crossing. You can't do it on a crest of grade or edge or curve where there's no vision or no visibility. You can't do it in front of a bridge, viaduct, tunnel. What else? I think I've covered it. There might be a couple of others. And that's to protect you. It's for safety. That's the whole reason behind it. So but generally speaking, they're legal unless signed otherwise or in specific areas where it's not permitted. Okay. Let's see, what is this? We got, this is a good question. This is coming in from Volley, and Volley didn't pause when I said pause. It plays things through. So if I don't press pause, it just skips to the next question. Is it possible to request an officer to a specific neighborhood to enforce cars at stop signs or side streets turning onto Bloor? So you can, in Toronto, and I don't know about other services, you can certainly go onto our website, www.tps.ca/core, and you can report neighborhood complaints. That complaint it creates a real report, and that will get forwarded to the appropriate people. And then it's on our radar for enforcement of issues that are occurring there. Will you get a specific officer or an officer at a specific date or time? It may not happen in the time frame you want it, but it will likely happen. You used to go to a unit complaints coordinator, or not unit complaints coordinator, but a unit traffic complaints officer. And I don't know the specific routine now, but that's essentially what happens. It gets on the list of things to do, and it gets done. Have you ever given a ticket to kids not wearing a helmet while riding a bike? I have never given a ticket for that. I have counseled and cautioned parents who have taken their children out without helmets, but I've never actually issued the ticket. I think a lot has to go with education, especially in these things. Teresa says, I love watching you. Thank you for doing this. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for watching me. It's not creepy at all. Thank you. It's very one-sided. It's a conversation, and I know that you're watching, and there's hundreds of you watching right now. And by the way, if you're watching and you don't know who I am, my name is Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I go live on social media answering traffic and police questions, well, pretty much every day, Monday to Friday, unless I take a day off or go on vacation or sick. That's the story. If you have questions, please ask them. I'd love to answer your questions. If you are unable to get your question in because of the app you're using, or you could always jump over to trafficcop.ca. That will forward you to our Volley space. That's an app that you can use to ask us questions, like the folks who were asking about how to make a complaint about neighborhood stuff. And another one came in. If my plates expire today, are they still valid till midnight? Yeah, end of day on that day. That's how it works. You're good until your birthday, the end of the day. If you're a company, it's not your birthday. It's the end of the fiscal year of the company. Okay. Here's Usman, who says, I'm 17 years old. I have an Alberta driver's license. Am I valid to drive in Toronto? If you're 17 and you have a full license, or at very least the equivalent of a G2, yes. If you have a license that requires you to be supervised by another, which is a G1 or equivalent, you would not be eligible. You have to be 16 years old and have a license that's either probationary or permanent. Oh, and Kevin Pierce confirms, yes, taxis and buses can use the HOV lane while having passengers and without passengers. Cool. Thanks, Kevin, for doubling down on that and confirming. Okay. Are axle back or cat backs allowed on cars in Canada / Nova Scotia? So cat backs, or I've never heard it referred to as an axle back, but basically, and it means an upgraded exhaust system after the catalytic converter. So you're not cutting the catalytic converter, which many old school folks were doing, and some new school people who think it's a good idea. It's not. It's illegal. But cat backs that are legal, that include all the required equipment, resonator and exhaust system, or I should say muffler, would be legal. You can have a freer flowing muffler. You just have to have one that meets the legal requirements. So there you go. I don't know about Nova Scotia, I should say. In Ontario, that would be the case. And you'd need to check with your local authorities in Nova Scotia. All right. Downpipes serve no harm to your vehicle's performance. Downpipes. You mean like the ones that cut out and don't go through a muffler or exhaust system? Yeah, you're not exactly accurate. They do harm your vehicle's performance if you're not tuned properly, but they do violate the law, and you'll get taken off the road. Okay, let's scroll down. Someone says, narc. No, narcs are narcotic officers. I'm a traffic officer. You got it all wrong there, kid. If we are on bicycle, do we need to do what? We already talked about that. Okay, you came from here and you went over there. I got it. All right. Bill Gates, we already covered that. Front and rear license plate. If I don't have a spot on the front, I have to damage my vehicle. Yeah, any vehicle sold in Ontario, new, would have front license plate mounts. It's required by law. So if you don't have them, you have to put them in. Or at very least, find something like a zip tie. Or you could use a tow hook adapter that will also meet the requirements. But you do have to have one. It's $110 if you don't. If you continue to violate, you're going to find out that you are going to get sent directly to court with a summons. Okay. Is purple underglow illegal? Not specifically illegal. It depends on how it's mounted. It could violate other issues, other problems under the HTA. In other words, if you're projecting light forward, you're going to get charged for improper headlights. If you're doing it to the rear, improper taillights. If you're, so there you go. False Sean, all accidents are avoidable. Well, first, William Wallace, they're not accidents, they're collisions. Accidents suggest they're accidents and no one's fault. Collisions are absolutely someone's fault. They're not all avoidable. We're going to see they're going to be collisions of some kind, no matter how much we try. It would be great to say that they're all avoidable, but they're not. We accept that some are going to happen. It's the serious ones that we care about, the ones that change lives forever. Okay. Good morning. Can I drink and ride a horse? As long as the horse is not drinking alcohol, I think you're okay. I don't think they're covered. I think it's very specific to the motor vehicle. And to all the questions about am I doing well and how am I doing, and I appreciate those. I'm doing well. Thanks very much. Please don't spam. As Emma, who is a moderator, reminds folks in the chat, please don't. Mamarazi says, you have such a great voice for radio, I could listen to you all day. Well, thank you very much. And I occasionally guest on the radio, so I'm sort of on the radio, but not really. Okay, scrolling through, lots to read. They sell lots of things that are illegal. Yeah, a lot of folks don't get the fact that it's not illegal to sell license plate covers, for instance. However, it's illegal to use license plate covers. That bugs people. Sale of those are not regulated. Now, you can't buy or sell or use a, what is it called? A radar detector or jammer. That is regulated. But I don't know if you want everything to be regulated. Should there be some mystery involved? I'm kidding. It would be cool if we said we couldn't sell them, because you would not have the issues you have often with people buying things that they can't. And we're actually looking at and have had this discussion where tinted windows, for instance, someone who installs illegal tinted windows, are they enabling people? Are they somehow connected, liable for a death if you were to drive into them because you couldn't see? They would say no. They would likely have you sign a waiver. But if they are installing it, they're doing something that allows you to then drive on the road, which is illegal. So should we have liability for the people who sell things that in turn cause issues on the road? It's an interesting conversation. Right now, it's a stretch. Could it become that way later? Maybe. Tracy, I'm glad you appreciate the NARC comment. Let's see here. We have a question from Nicholas Tritt. And the question is, also, when I just bought a car a couple of months ago and I went to I assume DMV Friday to get a metal plate. When I went up and handed them my title, they told me I needed a new title for a metal plate. Why is that? You said DMV. Are you in the United States? Because I don't know anything about the United States DMV and how they operate. So that's a great question that I have no answer for. If you're in the States, definitely check out with your local DMV. If you're in Ontario, it's a great question for them, but I don't know why you'd need a new title or whatnot. Sorry, I don't have an answer. I'm not sure I know what the question is. Okay. Do you stop vehicles with no front plate often? Yes. Well, I don't. I'm not on the road. But when I was, I did. If I see it, I stop it. It's a cause for investigation. Can you speak to the extreme police presence in High Park? Why are they harassing cyclists? They're not harassing cyclists. They are charging people who are breaking the law. So it's my understanding, and I'm not part of that, and traffic services isn't directly involved in that because we are traffic officers, but we're not, I believe that's divisional officers that are on that. They're responding to public complaints. People are concerned for their safety. They call the police. They say there's a problem. Then police spend more time in that area. But my understanding, although I have not been there myself, is that it's a problem. So if you don't want to be pulled over, you need to stop for stop signs. That's the deal. Okay. Rob Baker does not like cyclists, apparently. I will not repeat what you said. Actually, it was nothing really bad, but yeah, I'm just not going to repeat it. Anybody on YouTube can read it for themselves. I have a motorized rail cart. If I cross an intersection on it, on train tracks, assuming I didn't get mowed down, what can I be charged with? A motorized rail cart. So I have no idea because I don't do train stuff. Not I don't know. But I like the question. Now I want to know. Do you know the answer? Is this an educational question where you know the answer, but you just want to see if I do? Because you've trumped or stumped me. Let's see. How long can I drive in Ontario as a visitor when do I have to exit the province? How long can you be here, or how long can you drive here? It really depends on residence. Like if you're just chilling out because you're visiting friends and hanging out for a bit, you got some time. I believe you can be here for a year. If you've taken up residence, though, if you're living, working, going to school, you're a resident, and then you have 60 days to apply for a local driver's license. And Justin says he doesn't know the answer. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer either. I do know some trained people. I think we should get them involved. I know some trained cops that have the choo-choo status. Let's see here. Hey, just a quick question. Can we tint the front headlights? Absolutely not. You cannot tint your front headlights. You can't coat them. You cannot put shrouds on them. It's pretty clear. You have to have proper headlights, and doing anything to those would make them improper. You can get a ticket. I believe it's $110 and no points. What do we have here? Emma's responding to Chuck in regards to tint. Yeah. 0 on the front windshield, 30% light blockage on the ones left and right of the driver, and you can do whatever you want in the rear ones. Absolutely on the money. Thanks, Emma. Am I at fault if my car hydroplanes during harsh weather conditions? Yes, you are. You are responsible for everything that your vehicle does. If you are driving in weather conditions that are harsh, you are choosing to drive in those weather conditions. And if you lose control, you are likely driving too fast for the weather conditions. Thus, you'll be charged for careless driving because you were doing something beyond of what should be done in those conditions. If the weather is horrible, don't drive. That's the answer. Camp out, wait for it to go. And I say camp out, I mean pull over, find a parking lot, be safe. If it's really horrendous weather to travel in, don't travel in it because you are responsible. Do you know if there's a protest right now? I don't know about any protest. But now I want to know. Charge and fine for driving in the new red bus lanes in Scarborough. I'm assuming it's going to be disobey sign, because I think there's signs as you enter those that say don't enter. So it's likely going to be a disobey sign, 3 demerit points, I think, and $110, I think. But I've never laid that charge. It's new to me because those came into play after I left, so I'll have to read up on those. Red light ticket, make sure to have a complete stop. If we're talking about bicycles or motor vehicles, it's the same thing. If you run a red light, it's I think $325 for a red light and $110 for a stop sign. Apparently, I remind Tony about the John Tesh radio show, which sounds familiar, but I don't actually know. I can't picture that. All right. What do we got here? I got so many different places with questions. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, you know what? If you're watching and you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I am a police officer. Yeah, that's what I am. And I'm about to press a button and play you a song. This was written and performed by a member of the Toronto Police Service who works in this building. I love it, and it's going to give me an opportunity to catch up on questions that I can continue to answer while I play it.
Safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving. Don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light. I love this song. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
I really do love that song. And good morning, Aaron. Hello.
New edition.
Oh yes, I have a traffic. You can't really see. TikTok can sort of see it. YouTube can see part of it. Instagram, you can't see it at all. I have a full size traffic signal in the studio. I found it. I knew it existed. I just hadn't brought it upstairs and didn't think about bringing it upstairs. And then saw it again today when looking for other things and said, "This needs to come upstairs." And it's taller than I thought it would be. I don't know if I've ever seen it. And you can plug it in and it lights up. It's cool. Can I pull a trailer behind a trailer? The answer is not if you don't have a commercial vehicle. There's certain exemptions or permissions available for large vehicles that you can't do that with your smaller vehicles. And I don't know the specifics, but basically, if you look up at the MTO, it says not permitted for non-commercial vehicles. What subdivisions does the Toronto Police have? You mean what divisions? How many divisions? There's lots of them. What do you want to know specifically about that? Are you the force? Speed tab is rude, and but you know what? I'm not even going to respond. Yeah, you're silly. 2-lane highway passing left turning vehicle by using the shoulder. Not generally. You can't drive off of roadways, so that would be illegal. And there's a charge for passing on right. Yeah, but it's different than overtaking on right when there's a lane. You can change lanes and continue, but actually passing on the shoulder is illegal. Are mini rear side view mirrors legal? If they provide you a view to the rear, their size is not regulated that I'm aware of. Can you put it in your windshield? If you mean tint, no. How do you balance going with the flow of traffic and going the legal speed limit on the 401? Well, going with the flow of traffic is not a legal requirement. It is a good to do thing and is a thing that's taught up until the speed limit. You're not allowed to drive over the speed limit ever, 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 ever. There's no exemption for you to go because, well, everybody else is doing it. That's just not lawful. So if you're going over the speed limit because everybody else is, then you're all eligible for tickets if we were to do that kind of stop everybody. You're also increasing your odds of getting involved in a collision, and you're increasing the amount of damage and injury that would occur in the event of a collision. Aaron Hepner wants to know why I won't answer their questions. I don't know what your questions are. I'll have to look for the next time you ask it. What is this? If my plate expires July, if the police stop me, what will happen? If your plates are expired, you're going to get a ticket for driving with expired plates. Simple as that. $110. If you're in a different province, traveling, it could be as high as $500 if you go to Quebec. Teresa likes the song. Awesome. I'm glad that we I'm glad that we were on the same page because now we can be friends. Okay. What is this? What? Justin says there's a rifle range in Switzerland that shoots over an active highway. That's wild. I've never heard of that. And Usman wants to know why I was at the Honda Indy. We had a booth there. We had a booth because we were doing what we do here, but live and in person there. It was just a nice way to interact with the public and say hello to people. Oddly enough, I was live streaming from the Indy, and people were walking up like, "I'm watching you right now." It was really cool. All right. So we talked about that. Why do cops use their lights to go through red lights, then turn them off right away? Great question. I have tons of videos on this because it's safer. Well, that and it's legally required to go through. If we're going through a red signal, we have to come to a stop, have our complete emergency equipment on, and then go through it. Once we're through it, we can turn it back off again because more often than not, having our lights on causes the general public to do some wild and wonderful, well, not so wonderful things, unsafe things, because they don't know how to interact with us. They don't know, do we want them to stop? Do they want us to stop in the middle of the road, which is so many people do? I don't know why, but they stop just willy-nilly in the middle, like unsafely. We want people to pull over, because it's actually required by law, pull over to the edge of road, the nearest curb or edge of roadway. So on most highways, that means to the right-hand side, get out of our way, we're going somewhere. But if we don't need you to move over because there's a clear lane in front of us, we're just going to leave our lights and sirens off and we'll likely get where we're going faster. Okay. I got that, Usman. Okay. Okay. Is it a Canadian, Good morning. Do private police agents, CNCP, Rail, have authority to enforce laws outside of their private property? So they are police officers. They have the CN police have different authorities than special constables. They're actually police officers, but they're their jurisdiction is related on or in relation to their property. So they can investigate things anywhere if it's in relation to what they're doing. I don't know if there's like a diagram that will show how far beyond, a railway crossing that they can do certain things, but they are police. Yeah. But are they private police? I think they have authority as regular police, which is different than special constable, which are managed by police and have their authorities through a supervising agency. HOV lane can be used with my hybrid plug-in without green plate? ? No. Green plate is what gives you authority to be in that lane. If you were to put in, custom plates, then you would lose the ability to use that lane unless you had the appropriate number of people in it. It's the green plate that gives you authority. Huffy Dog says, you probably have been asked this question a bunch. Which question? I don't know which question. Just that. I got the comment. I didn't get the question that came up ahead. Or did I? I don't see it. Can the cover for license plates be slightly tinted? Clearly can read all the numbers. So you cannot put anything on your license plate. Not a frame, not a cover, not a clear one, not a tinted one, not a colored one. Nothing. Nothing can be on your plate. Anything obstructing any portion of your plate is illegal. Other than front plate, are traffic laws the same in Quebec? No, there may be, the general rules of the road tend to be the same, but minor things change. So you need to know what you're driving through. You need to know what, but the majority of differences tend to be vehicle requirements as opposed to rules of the road. Again, rules of the road tend to be the same. We talked about that already. If I have my G2, could I get an international driver's license? Yeah. International driver's license is essentially a card that translates into other languages. So it has a picture of you. It says that you are the person that's in that photo. Like, it's not an actual permit. It's not what it sounds like. It was the coolest thing when I turned 16 and I got my license. I'm like, I'm getting myself an. I was like 007, International Man of Mystery. No, it's not what you think. You can travel with your driver's license, and unless you're staying a certain length of time or the country requires it, you probably don't need it at all. But you can use a G2 outside of Canada and outside of Ontario, as long as you maintain use or you follow the conditions of your license. Did you steal those signs on the wall? No, those signs on the wall are made out of corrugated plastic and manufactured specifically for the purposes of display. They're trade show booth signs. Fakes. They're fakes. Is blue underglow illegal? It's not illegal if it's installed properly, if it's not visible to the sides of the vehicle, if it only points down to the road and nowhere else, it would be not illegal. However, if it's visible from the sides or front or back, that would make it illegal, because you'd be projecting light in a direction other than down. Or let me rephrase. Projecting light other than in white or yellow to the front is improper, and you would be ticketed for that. Likewise, anything other than yellow or red to the rear would be improper. So you're violating the rules by not having it installed properly. CHP said I need a California license when I had a G Ontario when I was visiting for 4 days. Yeah, the CHP didn't know what they were talking about. You don't need an international driver's license to travel to the United States. For 1, 4, 20, 50, like they're just wrong. Do you ticket over tinting in parked cars? No, we don't tint parked cars. Sorry, we don't ticket parked cars pretty much for anything because they're parked, at least not from an HTA perspective. That's a parking issue. You have to drive with the tinted windows for us to write you a ticket for driving with, yeah. Okay, how many times before summons in front for front plate? Depends on the officer. Could be the second time, could be the fifth time, whatever the officer determines is appropriate. If there's an emergency vehicle on a highway, do we need to pull over or just move out of the way? So the rules say you're to pull over to the nearest curb or edge of roadway immediately and safely. If they pass you before you stop, well, the need to stop is no longer there. The rule doesn't say continue stopping until you're stopped and then make sure it's safe. And then it's just you get out of their way. If they're no longer waiting for you to get out of the way, they pass you. Not awkward. Okay. What does this make a group thing? I don't know what that is. Okay. Can I drive a 15-passenger van with my G license, or do I need an F class? Yeah, you need a bus license. If you have 15 passengers in Ontario. I think the cutoff is 12. I might be wrong. But if it's empty, if there's nobody else in the vehicle, you'd probably be okay with your G license. But as soon as somebody's in the license with you, you'd need a bus license. Don't know anything about this. Back to that. Charge and fine for driving. No, we talked about that. Okay. Awesome. What do we got here? Lots of conversation. It's good. I love this conversation. Okay. Taking a right turn can get a ticket from the camera. Yeah, if you don't, so it's a red light camera. That means if you don't stop for the red light, you get a ticket. If you don't stop for the red light and go straight, it's running a red light. If you don't stop and make a right turn, you've run the red light because you didn't stop. It's not about what direction you go in after you didn't stop. Keenan confirms it's 12 passengers. And that's why I see so many, 12 passengers to be considered a bus license, I believe. And that's why some vehicles or some people will have one seat removed from a bus to make it not a bus. Cool. Thanks for weighing in. If there is a person in front and behind you are speeding and you can't move into the slow lane, well, if the person in front of you is speeding, they speed off. You don't need to maintain the same speed as them. And the person behind you will have to slow down when you slow down and follow the law. And if they don't like it, too bad. But you're not prevented or you're not required to speed because they want to. That's not a thing. Taking a right turn, we covered that. If your license is suspended, does the car get impounded if the suspended driver is not the owner? I don't remember. I think it does. Well, first of all, suspensions and impounds, I just haven't laid that charge in forever. Hang on a second. I don't even know if that'll show up in my little search. But now I want to know. Does suspension drive? I don't think we actually. It depends on what the suspension's for. If we even impound. Driver's license. No set fine. I have to look it up. Oh, that bugs me. I really want to know. Because if it's a suspension based on medical or unpaid fines, we don't take the vehicle. But yeah, we impound vehicles regardless of the ownership status. It's based on the driver status. So yeah, if you qualify for an impound, it's going to happen regardless if you're the owner or not. That's my belief. I'm doubling down. That's my belief. I haven't looked at that in so long. Okay. Does Toronto Police have a tactical unit? Absolutely, we have a tactical unit. It's called the ETF, the Emergency Task Force. I had to think about that. Justin wants to know if I have ever successfully performed an Akira bike slide on your service vehicle. I don't think I have. I can visualize that cartoon playing in my head, but I've never done anything like that. Is there a dismount in the midst of that? I don't think I've done that. My wife wants to get our windows tinted. What's the legal limit? 30% light blockage. Thank you very much. Here, I can ask you the question. If someone's suspended and they're driving somebody else's car and they qualify for an impound, it would be regardless if they're the owner, right? Yes. I just want to confirm. I haven't done that in forever, and it's just one of them things. Anywhere, yeah, I'll grab it in a sec. Thanks again. Yeah, he said yes, and he knows stuff. You know, it's not about knowing stuff. It's about remembering stuff. It's entirely different. And when I do what I do, I'm doing this out of what pops out of my head immediately. And the stuff that is a little bit older, stuck way back in the recesses of my brain, yeah, that's harder to access. What do we got here? Boom, boom, boom. All right, I'm going to scroll down and get some new stuff. I seem to have been repeating some things here. If you get lots of tickets on a bicycle, can you get it towed or taken away? No, we don't take away bicycles. Why do cops give tickets for stock factory exhaust systems? Want to know this. The answer is that if your stock system is creating too much noise because driver behavior or defect, not driver defect, but driver behavior and actual exhaust defect or vehicle defect, then it's eligible for a ticket. That's how it works. What do we have here? There's a built-in YouTube on the Tesla screen, so you can watch it while cruising. That would be against the law. Just because it's allowed or manufactured doesn't mean it's legal. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let me see what's really here. Have you only been a cop with the Toronto Police Service? Yes, I've only been a police officer here. I started as a volunteer here back in 2000. I had so much fun in the first couple months that I also became a court officer, which was a special constable, and I then became a police officer years later. So I've had 3 different roles, 3 different job titles, like sections, 1 volunteer, 1 special constable, and police constable. All of that is with the Toronto Police Service. And then I was a sergeant with the auxiliary and a supervisor with courts before becoming a police constable. Tinted windows keep the car so much cooler. Yes, solar load is real. I totally appreciate the reasons why you would want to tint your windows. I've had tinted windows in the past. I do not anymore. You can get UV coatings that prevent and reduce solar load, as far as I know, that are clear and aren't considered tint. Okay. Yes, Bill Gates wants to know, I guess, how the moderators know stuff. And yeah, these questions do come up a lot. They have learned through osmosis, and they're smart people. Can you get a tint ticket without getting tint measured? Yes. So if we determine, based on our observations, that it is too dark and unsafe, we can take your plates. We can then and issue a ticket, at which point we can, you'd have to take it to a mechanic to get certified. The mechanic has to test it with a tint meter. There's also a charge for obscure interior vehicle. That does not require a tint. It just says that you've obscured the interior. And that can be with a tint level that is legal for safety, but it's still obscuring the interior. We can't see inside. You're still eligible for the ticket. And people get confused with that. What happens if an officer runs out of gas in a police cruiser? That would be terrible, because we have gas pumps all over the city, and it doesn't cost us a penny because there are gas pumps. So we just go in when we're running low. We actually have we have service people who come in with tow trucks and could fill it up if we needed it to. We have ways of dealing with that. Are we going to deal with bike riders? And some other comments that came in with that. We do. I don't know if we do it to the satisfaction of all, but we do enforce laws when it comes to all vehicle users, all pedestrians, and all cyclists. It's just a matter of how many people we have and how much we can do at one time. Deal with one person at a time. It's kind of hard to get everybody. So you stop someone for something and 400 people drive by. They may be violating the same laws, but we can only deal with one at a time, realistically. Can I take my old license plate sticker since we're not doing stickers anymore? Yes, as long as your license plate is valid, take it off. As long as you've renewed it in the system. I've been here so many times and I've never been able to talk to him because the mods answered my question. Bill Gates. Okay. Well, I've been talking to Bill Gates all day today. Can you ticket without going? Yeah, we talked about that. Let's see here. If parked in a driveway, why would a cop charge for operate conveyance while prohibited? Because it doesn't matter where you are parked or operating. It is anywhere, private property or otherwise, where you are not permitted to be in control of that vehicle while under the influence of alcohol. It would be an honor to get a response from Bill Gates. I've responded to you throughout the show. Is there a limit as to how bright your headlights are if you want to replace the dim one? Yes, and I think it's 8,000 Kelvin. I think. But at the end of the day, ask the place you're buying it from to what's legal, not how bright you can make it. You don't want something that's inappropriately bright. It won't do you any good. Won't do you any good. Captain Foley says, thanks for all your videos. They're great and you're awesome to listen to. Well, thank you very much. Headlight height can be adjusted. Is there laws to prevent aiming too high? Yes, they must be properly adjusted. Improperly adjusted headlights are illegal. You're going to be charged for that. What is this? Emma, I hope I've met the requirements. I have answered directly several times now. I've acknowledged its existence. Okay, how much can you lift a truck? My understanding body lift is maximum 3 inches, but there are maximums for bumper height and headlight height, as well as minimums. What inspired you to do what you do? Do you mean being a police officer or being online answering your traffic and police questions? Police officer was simple. I watched Chips when I was a kid. I had family that were police, and I looked up to them. In fact, it was his birthday yesterday. I meant to call him Cousin Arnie. Happy birthday, belated. I meant to call you yesterday. But the deal is that I am... I always wanted to be a cop since as long as I can remember. And as far as getting into what I'm doing right now, I never dreamed of doing this. I actually was involved in a motor vehicle collision. I was on duty with the motor squad, and I was hit by a car. As a result of that collision, I was not permitted to go on the road. I'm not 100% yet. That's actually quite some time now that I've been recovering and still not ready to go on the road. But I found myself by collision. I was going to say by accident, but I don't want to use the wrong language. And the deal is that I started doing this, and it's taken up a life of its own. With 591,066 followers. I had to look over my shoulder at the counter. It's amazing how it's grown, and I love what I'm doing, and I'm glad that I can help people. That's the big thing. I'm still helping people, just in a different way. Any Newfoundland shows like this one? No. But you know what? If you find an officer out there that wants to do it, needs some help, let them reach out to me. I'm happy to help them out, tell them what they need to do. What is this? I scrolled too far. Come back. Can mobility scooters use roadways or bike lanes? Mobility scooters are really meant for the sidewalk. I know some of them can go faster than they're supposed to, but they're not intended to be there. And cyclists and other road users would not be happy. They're not sharing the road properly. They are considered, in most cases, pedestrians. I can't be a cop because I would go after other cops breaking the laws. Okay, that's tick tock. So you could be a cop and go after other cops for breaking the laws, because we have things or units that specifically go after officers and investigate officers for doing the wrong thing. And if we have officers who do the wrong thing, they should be investigated and they should be prosecuted, and they shouldn't be wearing my uniform. I'm really proud of my uniform. If you're going to do the wrong thing, go work somewhere else. Don't be a cop. If we've got people who get into these jobs under false pretenses, or maybe we've had bad people who sneak through and become cops. It happens once in a while. We catch those people, they're no longer cops. Let's see here. Yeah, it bugs me. I don't care who breaks the law. You catch the people who break the law. Doesn't matter if they wear the badge or not. What is this? Can't get an answer the past few live streams. How do you use discretion with warnings and fines? Guess what? You just got your question addressed. Voyager Dave, I think it is. The answer is that it depends. It's the officer's discretion. There's no discretion is discretion. It's up to the officer. So if I pull you over and you tell me a compelling story and you're polite and you're friendly and your record is good, I might employ discretion. Might. I also might charge you because the offense was one that I don't use discretion. I just give you the ticket. Or maybe it's my discretion to give you the ticket. But for instance, speeding, if you're doing 5 over, I probably won't pull you over because that's discretion. If I've pulled you over, you're probably getting a ticket because I've utilized the discretion for the 500 cars that were doing 5 over, and now you were doing 10 over, and you're getting a ticket. So it really depends. And there's no set way of doing discretion because it's discretion. It's not rule-based. If I have a G1, can I drive a four-wheeler? Not on the road. You need to have a G2 or better, from my understanding. And I'm not an off-road guy, and the person who is an off-road guy is currently not in the office, although he was supposed to be. And if he's watching, hope you're feeling better. Unsocial Agenda 84 says, absolutely, thank you for the great answers, everyone. Thank you so much. And to all the moderators who are helping out and our friends in the show, in the chat, thank you very much for all your participation. Couldn't do this without you. I really couldn't. You make my life better. Oh, what do we got here? Justin Nakatsuka. Nakatsuka. Okay, I want to say that right. And I don't know if I did. Let's see. When you had your motorcycle crash, were you disappointed to come back to work as a media officer instead of being surgically modified into the first RoboCop? I loved RoboCop too. I would have totally done that. No, I wasn't. I didn't come back as a media officer. I came back in doing all sorts of different jobs. I worked in the chief's office for a period of time. I did a whole bunch of different things. And just by way of opportunities, started helping out when I came back to traffic services in media and social media doing artsy fartsy stuff, and then one day became in front of the camera instead of behind it. But I was facilitating recording other people producing content as opposed to being the camera or the on-air talent. Yeah. Tracy Bell says, "Oh my God, yes, Chips in Miami Vice. Yes, Miami Vice was another one. I would like cross-eyed wait till 10 p.m. to watch Miami Vice with my dad." Usman says, "My cousin is a police officer in the Calgary Police. He admires me to also be cop. He says it's an amazing job." It is an amazing job. This is the best job in the world as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, I always wanted to be a police officer, and I get to live my dream out doing it now. Now, obviously, I didn't plan on being behind the camera doing this, but this is certainly a great way to help people. And that's what it's all about. Doesn't matter what you're doing, what your role is. We have many different roles. The goal is the same: help people. Just people helping people. All right, let's see what we got here. What is this? Can you... Okay, we got questions. Okay, this is people interacting in the chat. It's good. What do we have here? I see that it's 11:02. I've gone overtime. And I've got a meeting in 28 minutes. 27 minutes. Got a careless driving ticket, $400 and 6 points, but the cop wrote the wrong plate. What will happen? We'll have to see in court. They may or may not choose to continue. If it's correct elsewhere in the evidence, they could amend it on the face of the ticket. It really depends on the person sitting behind the bench. I'm from Ontario, Canada, fully licensed. Can I drive in the USA, Hawaii included? Yes. That's I've driven all over the world with my Ontario license. Even in Australia on the wrong side of the road, which was the right side of the road for them, the correct side. 21 Jump Street TV show for sure. Oh yeah, totally awesome. I don't know what the remake wasn't totally awesome, but the original was brilliant. At least through the eyes of me as a teenager watching it when it first came out. Like Knight Rider was brilliant. Street Hawk, for anyone who knows what Street Hawk is, was brilliant at the time. And now it's the worst drama to ever. Like I bought it. I had to watch it again, and it was so painful I never watched it. But like G.I. Joe when I was a kid, Transformers, the original cartoons, they were so amazing. I ran home to watch them, and watching them now is it's like watching things colored in Crayola wax crayons. Bad. But I still suspend disbelief in some movies, and you have to sort of let it go and just remember that there was a lot of work writing those amazing stories, and look at what those stories have turned into, at least with Transformers. And you know, behind me there is Optimus Prime, so you can't mess around. Cool. We got Brenda. Is it Brenda Arsenault? Says that her brother is a York Regional Police Sergeant, just returned from the World Police and Fire Games in the Netherlands. That sounds like an amazing trip. That's cool. Do all the lights have to work? Both my headlights work, but one of the bottom lights are out. So the deal is that you have to have your two headlights. In terms of your signal lights, you got to have signal lights too. Otherwise, you'd have to use hand signals. Duke's a hazard, right on. Very cool. Let's see here. What about parking tickets with wrong plate number? That's up to the courts. 2 silver medals. I can't speak today. I'm done. It's 11:04. I'm going to play the song again, and then I'm going to say goodbye because we'll be back tomorrow from 10 to 11 to do this all over again. Thank you for everyone who's hung out. If you've got questions and you want to still ask them, head over to trafficcop.ca. I'll still try and spend some time and interact with you in the space. Trafficcop.ca is our Volley link that takes you over to our Volley space. Free app. Happy to chat with you there, but I got to get off the live because that phone call came in from the front desk, and I don't know who it is. I called them. There might be somebody waiting for me. What else? See you tomorrow at 10, and here is, once again, my favorite song, the traffic song.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. seatbelt save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,